After about like 60 hours plus of playing Wuthering Waves, give or take, maybe more, I thought I'd make a video on my thoughts on the game, everything that's going on in the community between people talking about Genshin and comparing the two, the launch issues, endgame, Kuro games as a whole, and just like borderline what my thoughts are on everything going forward. I just want to address the first and most important thing I see people talking about. The beginning of the game, aka the story, right, with the heavy dialogue and info like lore dump right into the beginning of the game. I just want to say, yes, it was bad, right? But I play in Japanese, so it was better for me. I know a lot of the English voice actors are very bad. I think it's more of a voice direction thing and not a actual voice actor thing, because honestly, Rover and Yang voice actors, even Chishia's, are very good. It's just it feels like they were given a script without any footage of what is going on in the game, with no direction on how they should act, not act enthusiastic or mad or sad or depressed or anxiety ridden, none of that. It just felt like they were like, here you go, here's a script, read some lines with some very vague, very vague description talking about what's happening during that scene. And you can definitely see that with the Rover voice acting in the Scar dialogue when he's trying to escape and she's like, you're not going anywhere. That is, I will agree, that is one of the worst things I've ever heard in voice acting. It is so bad. But the Japanese version was way better. So I will say my experience was a little bit different because I played Japanese. Now, that being said, not only was the voice acting pretty bad in English, in especially certain parts, certain characters, but the beginning of the game, a lot of people are saying there's a lot of info dumping. And while I will agree, but where I will say this game gets a pass on that is, and I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me because there was already a lot of people agreeing and disagreeing with me on Twitter, is that I think every gacha game does this. Nikkei does this, Genshin Impact does this, Star Rail, holy fucking shit, did it do this right in the beginning. We were thrown into the freaking story. We got a giant dildo shoved into us by Kafka. That was the only interesting thing for me for Space Station. And after that, I could not give two shits until the end of Belobog. That's how I felt about Star Rail. That's why I made a video saying that Star Rail will never surpass Honkai Impact 3rd storytelling, because Honkai Impact 3rd just tells a better story, because they told, over time, they built up the story. And in Star Rail, it felt like you were just thrown in there. You were waking up. You have no idea where you came from. You have Stellarons and the Legion and Nanook and Aeons and freaking like all this shit going on, right? Paths, the simulated universe, all this, psychological and sci-fi, quantum physics shit thrown at you right in the beginning of the game. And Genshin maybe was not as bad as Star Rail was for that, but Star Rail has Paimon. So there's that. Paimon, right from the beginning, I hated her right from the beginning. The minute that you go up to an NPC and talk to them and it's voice dialogue, which is very bloated dialogue, is just insufferable from beginning to end. And she just repeats every single thing that every fucking NPC says over back to you like you're a dumb, stupid child. And it never changed as the game went on. And they did also info dump on you quite a bit, while they didn't do as much as Wuthering Waves, because in Genshin they simplified it more for children. They explained visions and the archons and all that stuff a lot more in simplistic terms, so kids could understand, because the game was kind of marketed towards children, like teenagers especially. So you didn't really require that big a brain to understand most of the stuff that was going on there. But me, myself, I like games that have more philosophical storytelling, like games like Nier, Mass Effect, Final Fantasy games. Like, I like to think when I play these games. I love when a game, keeps me thinking throughout the story, and then at the end, there's the twist or everything gets revealed. I love that. I love theory crafting throughout playing the game, and I hate when games are just like hand-holding. I'm not saying Genshin does this, but I think Wuthering Waves does this better than Genshin in storytelling terms. I like for example, right? everyone's complaining that Tacit Discord is a stupid name for the monsters, and that Tacit Field, you know, is a, you know, Tacit Discord, Tacit Field, you know, the retroactive rain, all this shit, right? They're saying all this shit is, you know, very hard to understand. But if you paid attention to the story, the name of the game is Wuthering Waves. Now, a lot of people think waves, they think the ocean, but the waves that they're talking about are like sound waves. And if you know anything about sound waves are disturbances caused by movements of energy like wind, air, water, like all that kinds of shit. So that is tied directly to the story of Wuthering Waves. The Tacit Discord, Tacit means silent, Discord means like chaotic. So that word together is like a silence in the waves, right? In the waves of the world, the sound waves. And the Discord is the chaos. So like the calm before the storm kind of thing, right? And every time in the story, you see the monsters pop up, you get the silence, like the calm before the storm. You see it in Act 5 or Act 6 when you're about to go to war and you have the retroactive rain and the rain just stops and everything goes silent. And then hordes of monsters come from everywhere. So that is why they have the name Tacit Discord. Everything is named, you know, purposely that way to tie into the story. Now, does it make it a little bit more complicated? Yes, but that means if you use your brain a tiny bit, that you will understand the story. And if you paid attention even just a little bit, you would understand the story. Now, another thing, a lot of people want to complain that that's info dumping way too early. I disagree. I think it was fine. Could it have been done better? Sure, I could say that about a lot of games, but yeah, for a, you know, new, you know, small studio doing a game this big, and a gacha game at that, which most gacha games are not very story, you know, don't have good story, okay? Let's just be real. You know, not having $100 million+ budget to make this game, they did a pretty good job from start to finish, I think. It could have been better in a lot of areas, I think. But I still enjoyed the way that they broke down the lore. I think it was simple enough for you to understand if you paid attention. You got the Tacit Discords of the monster. Tacit Fields are the fields where the monsters come from. If you've ever watched the anime Solo Leveling, it's literally the same thing. They're coming from a portal. The monsters are the Tacit Discords, and the Tacit Fields are the portals that are opening in Solo. It's like the same thing. And then you have the Magistrate. Each country has their own Magistrate, or each continent, whatever, which is similar to the Archons pretty much. In Genshin, you can think of the Magistrate like the Archons, right? And then every country has their own Sentinel with a different you know, animalistic figure as the, you know, symbol of the Sentinel, right? And in our case of Jianzhou, the city in the 1.0 area, is a dragon. You know, for all we know, in the next area, it could be a tiger, or it could be a phoenix, or something like that, right? So I'm very excited to see the future continents. I think they built up the lore very well. You know, you could say like, I'm a lore guy, I'm very into lore, and that's fine, and casual people won't get it. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think they made it pretty simple. Now, you guys may disagree with me, but I disagree with you. I think that it was, and this isn't even me dick riding, because I will myself say, I have already said that the beginning of story was okay, like when they first introduce you, but then there's just, once you see Mortify, holy fucking yap fest. I skipped all that shit because I already did it in the beta and I didn't want to do it again. So you got all that stuff with Mortify, all that, like it's pretty mid until you see Scar. Then it, you know, pops off when you see Scar. You get the backstory with him being the black sheep, and then you see him literally as a black goat demon when you fight him. Very, very cool. Then it kind of goes down again in Act 4, and then Act 5 you meet the Black Shores. I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything, but in Act 5 you see the Black Shores. And, you know, then it picks up again. You meet Camellia, which, oh my God, we had the sexiest scene I've ever seen in a gacha game ever. Holy freaking sexual tension in that scene was crazy. And Camellia is awesome. I love her. She's a little psychotic. I loved seeing Alto and Encore in the story, and even Verena, even though I could not stand pulling that character, I loved her in the story. It's just weird that in Japanese she's voiced by like a 40-year-old woman. It sounds like she sounds like a 40-year-old woman. And characters like, I'm pretty sure it's one of those she's like a thousands of years old thing, and she looks like a child because she's an elf, whatever. And then after that, you get to Act 6, was in my opinion is peak as fuck. Probably more peak than anything I've seen in Genshin. Okay, it was the most anime as fuck shit I've ever seen in a gacha game. I think it even rivaled some of the shit in Penacony. That's how freaking good it was from Sarwell. We get to see this huge war, which we're pretty much leading the charge into battle. They're trying to test our, like, you know, strategic might, as giving us options on what to do with strategic planning in the military assault that we're planning against a fucking giant stone golem mecha with a freaking, you know, dreamless demon that we're getting ready to fight. And that fight was sick. You fight side by side with Gian, and it is, oh man, I don't want to say too much because I'm already going to spoiler territory. I don't want to say too much. I feel like a lot of people already did that, but you know, and just in case you didn't, I'm not going to go there. But it was peak. I'm very excited to see where they go from here. I think it was better than Genshin 1.0, and I loved Genshin 1.0 when I first played it, minus Paimon, even though all it was you playing a therapist to a fucking dragon. Then that was pretty much 1.0. A lot of people are saying that the map is too small, Wuthering Waves. Dude, in Genshin, all we had was Mondstadt area with the freaking Dvalin area for the dragon. That's it. And then we got leeway in 1.1 and then Dragonspine. So I think Wuthering Waves map is pretty fucking big. I think it's bigger than what Genshin's was. Not that I want to keep comparing, but y'all the ones that keep comparing on my fucking Twitter or in my fucking stream or YouTube comments or TikTok comments. So I'm just doing what y'all are doing. And I think it's looking very good. I want to hold my judgment to see what 1.1 does and 1.2 does. We'll see if they add a new area. I think if they want to, you know, really grab us by the balls and you know, get us even more addicted to this game and get more people into it, add an addition to the map. Add something to the map, even if it's small, okay? I think that will keep a lot of people happy. Combat, in my opinion, amazing. 10 out of 10. Story, overall story, I would say it was like a 6. But Act 5 and Act 6, I would give like a 9. And maybe Act 6 even a 10. If it wasn't for some sound issues that I had during the final battle. I had some like delayed sound, like the voiceover was delayed. I don't know if that was my game or if it was a bug, or maybe they didn't adjust it properly and it's been patched. I don't know, but it was the only annoying thing for me when I was doing the main story. Exploration, I'm going to give it like a 9 out of 10 as well. It is very, very good. I like the puzzles. I like the, you know, I have to have a, you know, marksman out all the time for some of those, but it's fine because I have Mortifying. He's very fun. And I also love the exploration quests, and even some of the side quests in the game completely change what the map looked like. You get to this area that's full of like almost scarlet rot, like Millennia, where the Ghost Rider, you know, the Flame Rider is on the map. And there's this train and there's buildings hovering, floating in the ground, and a train going around. Like, it looks so cool. It looks like a Dark Souls area. And then once you do the exploration quest and it kind of clears all that up, and then all the buildings even expanding even higher, and it turns into a highway kind of thing you can do with the Ghost Rider, and it is so cool. It looks so sick. It opens up and you see the sun finally, and not that like dark red area. Then you go to the gorilla area. You got this dead tree stump with snow or ash on the ground, and the snow can kill you because you'll freeze to death. And then once you fix it up and do the exploration quests and get all the poison that's rotting the tree, you get all these sakura, like, you know, blossoms, cherry blossoms that just blossom throughout the entire tree, and is the most beautiful shit I've ever seen in the game. It is absolutely beautiful. You got like pink or green fireflies flying around to match with the aesthetic. At nighttime, that is the most beautiful area in the game, hands down. Even the area with the final boss is so sick, but I don't want to show that because I don't want to, you know, spoil anybody. And then I did a side quest like yesterday where you find those like crescent moon things that are on the ground, and I was always wondering, I wonder what the hell this shit is. You pick them up and then you hang them on this giant tree in the forest in the same area as the gorilla, and then it goes from being such a dark area to lit up from the half crescent moons being hung on the tree like a Christmas tree. It is so sick. I love the exploration in the game because of the exploration quests and even the side quests changing what the map looked like. And the music, bro, I see some people saying the music not good. Are you crazy? Bro, just when we start the game, we get the instrumental version of Saving Light, which is their trailer music, which is by far one of the best songs I've heard ever for a gacha game. I'm pretty sure Sawano is the one that made that song. It's absolutely amazing. Also, the echo farming, I love that. I love doing co-op. We've been doing it for like the last 2 days in Discord. In our little gacha Discord, we've been just grinding, you know, together, co-op, you know, sharing our shinies, or which is shiny hunting is so cool as well. I do kind of dislike that it's in certain spots all the time. It should be randomized. I don't think it should always be in dedicated spawns, but that is a small nitpick. I get why they did that, but it's still, I wish it would have just been random. It would have felt more special. And I also love, you know, like I said, you know, co-op, just grinding the bosses, dude. That's all we've been doing, and it's so fun not having to worry about stamina to build our characters, man. So at first I had this complaint where we weren't getting enough drops for using 60 stamina to clear a boss. I thought it was really bad that we were getting 2, maybe 3. Obviously, when I'll get to a higher level, when we're 80, 90, maybe you'll get 4 or 5 a drop, maybe, right? But right now, it is so rough wasting that stamina to level your characters, and you have to do it like 5 or 6 runs to level a character. Oh my God. It's really bad. But you don't have to waste stamina to grind relics. Now in Genshin, you have to waste stamina to grind relics, waste stamina on bosses for enhancement mats, and certain things for enhancing weapons or talents, etc. were only on set days in Genshin. That alone was one of the reasons why I could not stand that game, and one of the reasons why I quit. Having only dedicated days where, what if it was a day I was busy and I couldn't grind it? Well, guess you're waiting until next week, can't build this character or weapon. Absolute dog shit. I'm glad that Wuthering Waves does not do that. One of my gripes though is Rover has such a good voice, especially in Japanese, the female Rover especially. And I love that she's voiced in important moments, but it's so weird to me why she's not voiced throughout the entire thing then. Just voice her throughout the entire thing. Why is she voiced in random side quests, companion quests, and then also main story, but sometimes she's not in all 3 of those settings too? So like, if you're gonna at least just do all main story voice acting, please, for the love of God. Why are we doing this half voiced, half not voiced shit for Rover, bro? Like, did you run out of money? I don't understand. If you're gonna do one or the other, pick one, okay? Don't do both. It's stupid. I hate when I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to hear Rover's voice lines here, and she has no voice lines. And then in a scene that I don't even give a shit about, she has voice lines. Well, like, what is this, dude? I will say another gripe I have is I think they made the game too easy. Roguelike mode is super easy, even at level. I was doing a level 70 roguelike mode with a level 60 character, and the buffs in that game mode are so damn broken that it just, I could have probably did it with a level 50 character. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was that stupid, especially Gion's buffs, man. You're just spamming ults, and then if you know Gion on how he works, while you're in his ult, you have buffs that you can get. If you use his skill while on his ult, it like resets his cooldown on his ult, so he can just stay in his ult for forever. I had moments where I spammed the ult while already in the ult like 5 times. So I was in the ult with his buff to get the dragon, and then like a couple seconds later his ult popped back up again for me to use the beginning of the ult move again and reset it. It was so stupid. I was just in the ult the entire time and pressing E, hitting with the dragon, E, dragon, ult, E, ult, E, ult, like the entire time. It was stupid. That mode pretty much turned the game into Genshin, like, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't done tower adversity stuff besides the beginning portions that I could do. Once I get to true endgame max level 80, 90, stuff like that, then I will, you know, give my thoughts on tower adversity and how it's going to look. It's the same as every game, Genshin and Star Rail. You're not going to be able to do 3 teams, especially this game has 3 teams instead of 2. You're not going to be able to do that, especially as a free-to-play for a couple months. So I wouldn't even worry about that. That's the same as any game. Hologram fights are, you know, maybe it's because I just have too much experience from doing in the closed beta. Also pretty easy. You can also power level over them to clear them easier as well. So there's that. I kind of wish that they would have, if you did a level 50 hologram fight or level 60 and you were level 80, 90, that they literally brought you back down to that level to kind of even the odds a little bit. I feel like being able to just, that's supposed to be end game stuff, right? I feel like to just go out of your way, you know, and over level is just going to make that so trivial and stupid. And overall, Kuro has been super attentive and a lot of hot fixes and updates. They're listening to the community. They're, you know, doing apologies on their global forums and Twitter and all their social media pages. They gave us 2 5-star selectors. They gave us a 5-star selector banner and an actual ticket where you just pick one, dude. Genshin has never done either of those in the 4 years that the game has been out. Not only that, but Kuro has been giving out 10 pull after 10 pull after 10 pull, and they just hit #1 in like 100 freaking countries or whatever the fuck they just posted. And they're probably going to give us more awards now. So You know, I am so ready to see you know, what Kuro does for 1.1 and 1.2. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below if there's any gripes you had or any disagreements you have with what I said. I'll be looking in the comments. I'm curious to what people think, especially about the beginning portion I said about this video, about the lore and stuff. I want you guys to list what you guys liked, what you guys disliked, at least like 5 things of each, right? And yeah, I want to see what the community thinks about Wuthering Waves. If you're excited, what you're excited for in the future. For me personally, I want to see more Camellia. I'm excited how Kalcharo and Yinlin are going to be introduced to the story because they haven't been introduced into the story at all yet. I want to know more about, you know, Rover and her past, and Jinshi and Chang Li, all that. So I'm very excited for the future characters they've already teased and the story build up, and you know how it ended in 1.0. It got me so excited for 1.1 and beyond, and other continents in the future too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification. I'll be notified for future Wuthering Waves videos. Sorry about the lack of uploads for Wuthering Waves after launch. I've been so fucking addicted to this game that I cannot put it down. And then I also had PC issues. I don't know if you guys saw those posts. Still working through that, but we should have everything sorted by the end of this week. And then I'm going to be pumping out a lot of content. Probably not going to do anything for Boot Hill because I might not even pull on. I'm going to be honest. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys on the next video.